Let's get started with by making sense of this now. We've been joined right now by Nelson Ekujumi, Policy and Public Affairs Analyst, joins us virtually now. Thank you for joining us. Good morning, and it's good to see you again.
Good morning. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
Okay, so let's get started with the first story, of course, which has to do with fuel smuggling despite the deregulation of the industry sector. I mean, the custom boss came out yesterday talking about the Acting Comptroller-General of the Nigeria Customs Service, Adewale Adeniyi, said that despite the deregulation, they still see that smugglers are still very, very active in this operation. Talk to us about this irony. Why are we still recording fuel smuggling when there is a deregulation in place? Talk to us about this.
Well, the reason why we are experiencing smuggling is that, it's in man's nature to always try to cut corners. But be that as it may, every society has laws, that will regulate, the conduct of society, such that whoever goes against the norms and values of society will face the music. So I think the NNPCL needs to engage with stakeholders in that industry, as well as those are border communities, to make them recognize that, look, if you need a petrol, or a fuel, whatever, you should do the necessary documentation and pay the necessary tax. It's like you importing anything from Nigeria. So long as you meet the standard requirements, we are good to go. Don't forget, right now we don't have subsidy on fuel. So if Nigeria is importing fuel, from foreign shores, and somebody wants to come and take the fuel from Nigeria, it means we will have to be importing more. Then they will have to, get more logistics in place and do the necessary documentation to assess this commodity. So it's not a bad idea if they want it, but smuggling it, will be depriving the country of its much needed revenue, and could be a threat to national security. But smuggling is a global phenomenon. It happens all over the world where people want to cut corners. So, but we are the ones that should ensure that we put the necessary schemes in place to ward off such acts.
So in this case, what would you suggest the federal government do in this scenario? Because the government is looking for money. It's trying to looking for all avenues to generate money. So, and again, the concern is that how come these people are so organized such that even the government cannot even, clamp down on them? So talk to us about this. What new approach do you think we need to deploy to address this squarely?
Smuggling is as old as man himself. And like I said earlier on, it happens in every society. But most important, and you are talking about this cartel, it has existed for decades. It has become a way of life. If you go to our border communities, even within the Southwest here, you recognize what I'm saying. Some of those communities live virtually on smuggling. They don't have any other means of livelihood in those communities. And we have had reports where customs, controller are posted to those border communities that even with the traditional institutions and every other, non-state actor in those communities, that they, go to the customs authority within that jurisdiction to tell them that, look, this is the only thing we know how to do. We have not done anything else in our life. So please, you have to, open up a window to allow us to live, because that is our only means of, survival. But most importantly, like I've said, government needs, to engage with those communities in our border areas, as well as the stakeholders in these businesses, and make them realize that, come and regularize, your business. You recognize that when the former governor of Ekiti State, Mr. Dr. Kayode Fayemi, was the Minister for Solid Minerals, you see how he was able to, galvanize, illegal miners, He told them that come and get registration. There's no big deal in this. Stop doing illegal business. Stop running away from security agencies or be on the run that security agencies will come after you. Organize yourself. Come and get licenses. Our licenses are free. Our doors are open, such that you'll be able to do your businesses in a conducive atmosphere, in an atmosphere that you have the law backing you. And he was able to achieve, some level of success. So I think that is what we need to do, because so long as human beings are involved, there is no way you can totally eliminate crime. But most importantly, as a government, you need to engage with the stakeholders and make them recognize that, look, it is in our collective good if you are doing this. If you get registered, if you are getting taxes from this business, we'll be able to provide, the dividends of democracy to the communities, and you live a better life, as well as your children and your families.
We hope to see the end of this, criminality in Nigeria. We hope to see that. All right, let's get to the next story, of course, which talk about the organized private sector asking the Tinubu administration to provide a policy framework or roadmap for the non-oil sector. Specifically, they talked about trade and services sector. So talk to us about what you think can be done, especially in this administration, what to start looking at, because at the moment the federal government is trying to explore all avenues to raise funds to drive revenue, and so that becomes crucial to look at the services sector, look at trade and all of that. So what kind of policy measure will you propose? Because according to report, the African Development Bank said that Nigeria's export of goods and services stand, in terms of GDP percentage, stand at 10.7%. Of course, which is the lowest among the 8 middle income pairs in Africa. When you compare it to South Africa, you compare it to Mauritius, you compare it to Botswana and Tunisia. Talk to us about this. Hello, can you hear me?
Please come again. I didn't get the starting of your question now. I really said that. So you have to come again.
Okay. So talk to us about, amidst this challenges, economic challenges in Nigeria, organized private sector are asking the government to provide roadmap for the non-oil sector, specifically the services and trade. So I was asking you, what kind of measure would you propose for this kind of request that the organized private sector are also requesting for? Because if you look at in terms of export, according to information that's according to African Development Bank's Nigeria's country department, they are saying that Nigeria's export of goods and services as a percentage of GDP is at 10.7%, and this is the lowest when you compare it to other countries like South Africa, Mauritius and Angola. And so these are smaller countries when compared to our own GDP. So talk to us about this.
Well, the request by the organized private sector is in line with their responsibility as a group. That they are the ones wearing the shoe. They know where it pinches, and it behoves on them. But in making demands on government, they must come with facts and figures to substantiate whatever demands they are making. And also, don't forget that as a government, the government also has a responsibility to the private sector or the public sector as well. And the government's responsibility is to engage with these stakeholders, look at the pains, look at the shortcomings or the gains in their industry, and do the needful. So if as a manufacturer, you are having some problems, it becomes on you to, because you are doing business in a country that has laws, in a country that has a government that has a responsibility, to make, the economy of the state function. So it is within your powers, it is within your rights, to interface with such government with your demand, stating, those facts and figures, and bringing up new ideas, how you think businesses can be done, and the economy will become better.